Chapter 2, Puritan Power. Okay, so by now, hopefully you're saying, wow, this really isn't like the history books I'm used to. And if you aren't saying that, well, you're a liar. And guess what? You wouldn't be the first. After Gómez Llanes de Zurara's ridiculous money-grabbing lie, there were other European race theorists who followed suit, using his text as a jumping-off point for their own concepts and racist ideas to justify the enslavement of Africans. Because if there's one thing we all know about humans, it's that most of us are followers, looking for something to be part of to make us feel better about our own selfishness. Or is that just me? Just me? Got it. Well, anyway, the followers came sniffing around, drumming up their own cockamamie, best word ever, even better than Zurara, though possibly a synonym, theories, two of which would set the table for the conversation around racism for centuries to come. Those theories were: 1. Climate theory. This actually came from Aristotle. We'll get back to him later, who questioned whether Africans were born this way or if the heat of the continent made them inferior. Many agreed it was climate and that if African people lived in cooler temperatures, they could, in fact, become white. And 2. Curse theory. In 1577, after noticing that Inuit people in northeastern, freezing cold Canada were darker than the people living in the hotter South, English travel writer George Best determined, conveniently for all parties interested in owning slaves, that it couldn't have been climate that made darker people inferior, and instead determined that Africans were, in fact, cursed. First of all, could you imagine someone on the Travel Channel telling you that you cursed? Like, really? And what did Best use to prove this theory? Only one of the most irrefutable books of the time, the Bible. In Best's whimsical interpretation of the book of Genesis, Noah orders his white sons not to have sex with their wives on the ark and then tells them that the first child born after the flood would inherit the earth. When the evil, tyrannical, and hypersexual Ham goes ham and has sex on the ark, God wills that Ham's descendants will be dark and disgusting, and the whole world will look at them as symbols of trouble. Simply put, Ham's kids would be black and bad, ultimately making black bad. Curse theory would become the anchor of what would justify American slavery. It would branch off into another